My wife said, "Your problems aren't my priority. Focus on yourself." I replied, "Will do." Then I did exactly that. Separate schedules, separate bills, separate life. When her car broke down and she waited for me to fix everything. I, 32, male, had been married to Emily, 30, for 5 years when she looked at me across the dinner table and said the words that would end our marriage as I knew it. Not through divorce, not through cheating, but through something far more calculated. "Your problems aren't my priority," she said, cutting into her chicken. "You need to focus on yourself." I had been trying to tell her about the stress at work, about my father's health scare, about feeling stretched too thin, managing everything at home while she pursued her hobbies and social life. I wasn't asking her to solve anything. I just wanted her to listen. But she didn't want to listen. "Will do," I said quietly, setting down my fork. She smiled, thinking she'd won something, thinking I'd go silent and keep carrying the weight alone like I always had. She had no idea I was about to take her advice exactly as she'd given it, word for word, boundary for boundary. 2 days later, I opened a separate bank account. Looking back, I should have seen it years earlier. The pattern had always been there, hidden under the routine of marriage and the assumption that partnership meant one person giving more than the other. I was the one who woke up early to prep both our lunches. I was the one who scheduled car maintenance, paid all the bills, arranged our social calendar, and remembered her mother's birthday. When Emily's student loans came due each month, I covered them without question because we were a team. When her car needed new tires, I handled the appointment and the payment. When her sister needed help moving, I rented the truck and spent my Saturday hauling furniture. Emily worked part-time at a nonprofit she loved. The pay was minimal, but she said it fulfilled her. I worked full-time in logistics, pulling 50-hour weeks to keep us comfortable. I never complained about the income gap because I believed we were building something together. But her idea of partnership had limits I was only beginning to understand. When I came home exhausted, she'd be on the couch scrolling through her phone, surrounded by half-finished craft projects. Dinner would be whatever I felt like making or ordering. If I asked her to pick something up from the store, she'd forget or say she didn't have time, even though her schedule was open. "I'm busy with my volunteer work," she'd say when I mentioned feeling overwhelmed. "I'm focusing on my mental health," she'd add when I suggested she help more around the house. Every excuse was wrapped in therapy language that made me feel guilty for even bringing it up. Asking for help became asking too much. Expressing stress became being unsupportive of her journey. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night. My father had called that afternoon to tell me his biopsy results were concerning. The doctors wanted to run more tests. He lived 3 hours away, and I was trying to figure out how to visit him that weekend while juggling a major project deadline at work. I thought Emily would want to know. I thought she'd offer to come with me, or at least ask how I was feeling. Instead, she glanced up from her phone and said, "That's tough, but I'm dealing with a lot right now too. Grace is going through a breakup and needs me." Grace was her best friend. The breakup was her third one that year. "Right," I said. "I just thought you'd want to know." "I do want to know," she said, her tone defensive. "But your problems aren't my priority right now. You need to focus on yourself." The room went silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. She went back to her phone, texting Grace about meeting up for drinks. I stared at her for a long moment, waiting for her to realize what she'd just said, waiting for an apology or even a hint of awareness. Nothing came. "Will do," I finally said. She looked up and smiled, relieved. "Good. I think we both need space to focus on our own stuff." I nodded. Agreed. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying her words. "Your problems aren't my priority. Focus on yourself." Fine. I would. Wednesday morning, I drove to the bank before work and opened a new checking account under my name only. Then I called our landlord and asked for a copy of our lease. I reviewed every clause about shared expenses and individual responsibility. Thursday, I created a spreadsheet. Rent split down the middle. Utilities split down the middle. Internet split down the middle. Groceries tracked separately. I started keeping receipts for everything. Friday, I sat Emily down at the kitchen table with a printed copy of the new arrangement. "What's this?" she asked, picking up the paper. "Our financial separation," I said calmly. "You said I should focus on myself. I'm taking your advice. From now on, we split everything 50-50. I'll pay my half of rent and utilities directly to you or the landlord. You pay yours. We buy our own groceries. We manage our own expenses." She laughed, actually laughed. "Are you serious?" "Completely." "This is ridiculous," she said, tossing the paper back. "We're married." "We are," I agreed. "But you made it clear that my problems aren't your priority, so your problems aren't mine either. This is me focusing on myself." Her smile faded. "That's not what I meant." "What did you mean?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. She had no answer that wouldn't prove my point. "This is effective immediately," I said. "I've already transferred my half of this month's rent. Here's your share of the utilities bill." I slid a printed invoice across the table. She stared at it like I'd handed her an eviction notice. "You can't be serious." "I'm serious." "What about groceries? What about dinners?" "I'll buy my own, you buy yours, if you want to. Share a meal. We can split the cost." "This is insane," she said, standing up. "You're punishing me." "I'm following your advice," I corrected. "You wanted space to focus on your own stuff. Now you have it." She stormed out of the kitchen. I heard the bedroom door slam. I didn't follow. I made myself dinner, ate alone, cleaned my own dishes, and went to bed. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. But the separation had begun. The first 2 weeks were awkward but manageable. I bought my own groceries and labeled them in the fridge with sticky notes. Emily did the same, though she started buying far less than usual. I noticed she was eating out more often, probably assuming this phase would pass. I paid my half of rent and utilities through direct transfer, documenting every payment with a screenshot. I kept copies of every receipt in a folder on my laptop, organized by date and category. Emily kept waiting for me to crack. She'd leave the trash overflowing, expecting me to take it out. I took out only my bag. She'd let dishes pile up in the sink. I washed only mine. When her laundry sat in the dryer for 2 days, I moved it to a basket and did my own load. "Are you really not going to help me fold these?" she asked one evening, staring at the heaping basket. "Your laundry isn't my priority," I said evenly. "I'm focusing on myself." Her face went red. "Stop throwing my words back at me." "I'm not throwing anything. I'm living by them." She didn't respond. She grabbed the basket and disappeared into the bedroom. Week 3, her car started making a grinding noise. She mentioned it at breakfast, clearly waiting for me to offer to take a look or schedule an appointment. I kept eating my cereal. "Aren't you going to say anything?" she finally asked. "About what?" "My car. It's making a noise." "That's unfortunate," I said. "You should probably get it checked out. Can you take it to the shop?" "No." "Why not?" "Because your car isn't my priority," I said. "I'm focusing on myself." She stared at me, speechless. "You're being an asshole," she said. "I'm being exactly what you asked me to be," I replied calmly. "Self-focused." She left the table without finishing her coffee. That afternoon, I visited my father. I didn't tell Emily I was going. I drove 3 hours, spent the evening with him discussing his treatment options, and drove back late that night. When I got home, Emily was waiting up. "Where were you?" she demanded. "With my dad." "You didn't tell me you were going." "Your problems aren't my priority, remember? Mine aren't yours. I didn't think you'd want to be bothered." She looked like she wanted to argue, but the words wouldn't come. She'd built this wall herself, brick by brick, and now she was standing on the wrong side of it. Update 1. A month into our separation, the first real crack appeared. Emily came home one Thursday afternoon, visibly shaken. She'd been in a fender bender. Nothing serious, but her front bumper was dented, and the other driver's insurance was dragging its feet. "I need your help," she said, dropping her purse on the counter. "I don't know how to deal with insurance companies." I looked up from my laptop. There are plenty of online guides. YouTube has tutorials. "I don't want to watch videos. I need you to handle it." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because it's not my priority," I said. "I'm focused on myself." Her jaw tightened. "This is different. This is an emergency." "It's your emergency," I corrected. "Not mine." "We're married," she said, her voice rising. "Married people help each other." "Do they?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. "Because a month ago, you made it very clear that helping each other wasn't part of our arrangement. You told me my problems weren't your priority. You told me to focus on myself. I'm doing that. I didn't mean it like this, she said. How did you mean it? She didn't answer. If you want my help with your insurance claim, I continued, I'm happy to assist. But it's going to cost you. Cost me what? My time isn't free anymore. If you want me to make calls, deal with the adjuster, and handle the paperwork, I'll bill you at $50 an hour. Market rate for administrative work. Her mouth fell open. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. You want my labor, you pay for it. Just like I'd pay a service if I needed help with something. You're insane, she said. I'm self-focused, I replied. Just like you wanted. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. 2 days later, she texted me asking how to file a claim. I sent her a link to the insurance company's website and wished her luck. She didn't respond, but I could feel the foundation shifting beneath us. Update 2. 6 weeks in, Emily started missing payments. The first was her half of the electricity bill. I got a notice from the utility company that we were past due. I called her at work. Did you forget to pay your share of the electric bill? I asked. I've been busy, she said. It's due today. If you don't pay, they'll shut off service. Can you cover it? I'll pay you back. No. What do you mean no? I mean no. I paid my half. You pay yours. This is ridiculous, she snapped. We're going to lose power. You're going to lose power if you don't pay your share. I've paid mine. I'll be fine. How will you be fine if the power's off? I'll get it turned back on under my name only. You'll need to make your own arrangements. There was a long silence on the other end. You're really going to do this, she asked. I'm really going to do this. She hung up. An hour later, she paid the bill. But the missed payment became a pattern. Her share of the internet bill came late. Her share of the water bill came late. Each time I sent her a polite reminder and a screenshot of my own payment confirmation. Each time she paid at the last minute, fuming. By week 8, she'd started eating my labeled groceries. Not much, just small things. A yogurt here, a bag of chips there. I noticed immediately. I didn't confront her. I just started locking my food in a mini fridge I bought for my home office. When she saw it, she exploded. You bought a locked fridge? For our kitchen? For my office, I corrected. And yes, my groceries kept disappearing. We're married, she shouted. This is insane. We're married people who've decided to focus on ourselves, I said calmly. You established that boundary. I'm respecting it. She looked at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. Update 3. 3 months into our new arrangement, Emily's car died. Not the grinding noise from before. Dead, stranded in a grocery store parking lot on a Saturday afternoon, engine seized, refusing to start. She called me. My car won't start, she said, panic creeping into her voice. I need you to come get me. Call a tow truck, I said. I don't know how to do that. Google it. There are dozens of services. Can you just come get me, please? Where are you? She told me. It was 20 minutes away. I'll come get you, I said, but I'm charging for gas and my time. $40. You're joking. I'm not. We're married. And you made it clear that your problems aren't my priority. This is your problem. If you want my help, you pay for it. She hung up. 20 minutes later, she called back. Fine, she said, her voice tight. Come get me. I drove to the parking lot, picked her up in silence, and dropped her at home. She handed me 2 20s without a word. I took them. That evening, she got a quote from a mechanic. The engine was destroyed. Repair cost, $4,500. She came to me with the estimate, her face pale. I can't afford this, she said. That's unfortunate. I need your help. I don't think you do. What am I supposed to do? Figure it out, I said. Get a loan. Ask your parents. Take the bus. Those are all options. We have saving, she said. I have savings, I corrected. You have your separate account. We agreed to financial independence, remember? That was for bills, not emergencies. It was for everything. You said my problems aren't your priority. Your car problems aren't mine. She stared at me, tears welling in her eyes. Please, she said quietly. I'm asking you to help me. And I'm reminding you of what you told me 3 months ago. Focus on yourself. She broke down then, sobbing into her hands at the kitchen table. I felt a flicker of something. Not guilt, not satisfaction, just the cold recognition of cause and effect. I left the room and let her cry alone. Over the next week, Emily scrambled. She called her parents, who offered to lend her $2,000 but not the full amount. She applied for a personal loan and got denied because her credit wasn't strong enough. She looked into payment plans with the mechanic, but they required a down payment she didn't have. Meanwhile, she was taking Ubers to work at $12 a ride. The cost piled up fast. She tried one more time to convince me to help. "If you loan me the money, I'll pay you back," she said, "with interest." "I don't want your money," I said. "I want you to understand what partnership actually means." "I do understand." "Do you?" "Yes." "Then explain it to me," she faltered. "It means we help each other." "When it's convenient for you?" I asked. "When you need something? That's not partnership. That's dependency." "I wasn't dependent on you." "You were. You just didn't realize it because I never asked you to reciprocate." She looked away, her hands trembling. "I didn't mean what I said," she whispered. "Which part?" "About your problems not being my priority. I was stressed. I didn't mean it. But you said it, and you meant it enough to dismiss me when I needed you." "I'm sorry," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I know," I said quietly. "But sorry doesn't rebuild trust. Actions do, and your actions for the last 5 years have shown me exactly where I stand." "So what now?" she asked. "Are we getting divorced?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "That's up to you. If you want to rebuild this marriage, you need to show me you understand what partnership actually looks like. Not just when you need something, but when I do too." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I'll think about it," she said. I nodded back, but I already knew the answer. Final closure, focusing on myself. Emily eventually sold her car for scrap and bought a used Honda Civic with a loan from her parents. She started taking the bus to work until the car arrived. She paid her bills on time. She stopped expecting me to manage her life. But the distance between us didn't shrink. It grew. We lived like roommates for another 2 months. Polite, separate, functional. Then one night she sat me down and said the words I'd been waiting for. "I think we should separate." "I think so too," I said. We filed for divorce 3 weeks later. It was clean, quiet, and fair. We split everything 50-50, just like the bills. She moved into an apartment closer to her work. I stayed in our old place. The first night alone, I made dinner for one, ate in silence, and cleaned my dishes. Then I sat on the couch and breathed. For the first time in years, I felt light. I wasn't carrying anyone else's weight. I wasn't managing anyone else's crises. I wasn't bending myself into shapes to make someone else comfortable. I was just focusing on myself, exactly like she told me to. 6 months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop. She looked different, tired. She asked how I was. "Good," I said honestly. "You?" "Managing," she said. We made small talk for a few minutes. Then she asked the question I knew was coming. "Do you think we could have fixed things?" "Maybe," I said, "if you'd wanted to." She nodded slowly. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. "Most people don't," I said. We said goodbye and I walked away. I didn't look back, because I'd learned something important in that year of separation. Partnership isn't about one person giving until there's nothing left. It's about 2 people choosing every single day to show up for each other. Emily chose not to show up for me, so I chose not to show up for her. And in doing exactly what she told me to do, I found the person I'd lost along the way. Myself. Edit. Aftermath. Some people asked if I ever regretted the divorce. The answer is no. Emily and I were incompatible in ways I refused to see for years. I thought love meant enduring. I thought partnership meant sacrifice. But love without reciprocity isn't love. It's servitude. And sacrifice without gratitude isn't partnership. It's exploitation. I'm dating someone new now. Her name is Hazel. She's a teacher. She remembers my father's appointments and asks how he's doing. She splits checks fairly without being asked. She says thank you when I do something kind. And when I have a problem, she listens. Because that's what partners do. They show up, not just when it's convenient, but every single day. Emily taught me what I didn't want. Hazel is teaching me what I do. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not focused only on myself. I'm focused on us, because us is worth it.